Hello, sports fans, sports collectors, and all hobbyists. Welcome to the Card King Sports and Variety Show. I am your host, the Catman, Brian Cataquet, a.k.a. the Card King. We are live on ABC's KMET 1490 AM.com. Your number one spot right here for news and talk on the West Coast. I thank everyone for tuning in this morning. He is an author and a sports enthusiast, also a doctor. So on the program, I welcome in a baseball enthusiast, author of the book, Unrestrained Creativity, which aims how to eliminate structure and enhance spontaneity to create new ideas with the game of baseball. I welcome in Dr. Shafer Zysman. Shafer, great to have you.
Thank you. Nice being on the air, Brian, and thank you for inviting me.
Certainly, Shafer. And, we're going to do a part two. This is going to be a short introduction to your work. So we're going to do a part two this coming week through Apple Podcasts. But for the meantime, if you could talk a little bit about your book, where can the audience pick the book up, your social media platforms? Give us all the information you can.
Okay, sure. My book is called Unrestrained Creativity, How Sandlot Baseball Can Unleash Creativity for Kids in the Tech Age. I conceptualized the book initially because I had been, just driving through streets in many communities, and I noticed that kids are no longer playing outside spontaneously like we did in the old days, back in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. You went out, you met with a bunch of friends and neighbors and went out and played ball. Today, I've noticed that, most kids are, either in very planned, organized, structured play groups, and I felt that there was something missing in their development. And especially since COVID, they become more isolated and more involved in cyberplay on the computer, so they're not as engaged socially. Now, obviously, my background is in mental health, and I've treated kids and people of all ages, and I feel that the essence of development and the essence of creativity in developing a mature, healthy lifestyle, as well as a child who's struggling, is to let them play and let them free play. I mean, the concept is very, very elementary. It's so basic that sometimes we forget and overlook it. So the idea was to draw back attention and sort of reel the clock back a little bit, especially in the media. There's been a lot of focus on, childhood and adolescent anxiety and depression. So I felt that this was a necessary book to, convey the message that we need to kind of roll back and go back to some free play. Let kids be spontaneous. Let kids be creative, and that was the origins of this book. Right now, it's in a new publication that's going to be distributed worldwide. It's being now translated into Chinese, Japanese, French, and Spanish. So I'm just on the verge of a listing with a new publisher, and it's going to become a worldwide distributed book. So that's the overall concept of it. It's the theme is, hey, let's play baseball again, but we don't have to be in very structured team leagues. We could just go out and do some playing, go to a field, make a field like we did in the old days, found a lot, make a field and enjoy playing, and you played for hours. You played for hours and hours, and you had great fun, you made great friends, and you became very spontaneous and creative in what you were doing.
And we're talking with Dr. Shafer Zysman. His book, again, is titled Unrestrained Creativity. He joins us on the telephone line this morning. Shafer, I have a large audience, about 100,000 people listening to the program, so I want to make sure they know where to go to purchase this book. Where can they go to purchase this book?
Well, right now it can be purchased on Amazon, but it's being relisted. I would advise people to sort of wait for a future broadcast to buy the book, because it is being soon with a new publisher, and it's going to be available nationwide and worldwide. So, but right now it's on Amazon. You can go to my website, drshaferzysman.com. That is ShaferZysman, drshaferzysman.com, and get an overview of the book. And if you want to purchase it, you can contact me directly, or I will, at some later date soon, give you a site and the new publisher that will be disseminating the book worldwide.
Now, Shafer,
as well as an audio book. We also are putting together an audio book version of this book.
Mm-hmm. I mean, everything sounds fantastic, and during our conversations, I know you are a passionate baseball fan. Talk a little bit about how your love for the game, when did it begin? And, the early years of your love for baseball.
Well, it began when I was 5 years old. I just saw people playing. I had older brothers. They played ball. They played different sports. And they would sometimes invite me to come and play with them. With their, they needed an extra guy on the field. So, I was introduced, obviously, to sports by them, but also by the neighborhood. The neighborhood kids, schoolmates. We had, back in the day in Brooklyn, New York, and in Queens, there were empty lots, and at the end of the corner, and we would just go out, want to play ball, and we would make a field. We'd make a field out of sticks and stones and cardboard boxes that we would find, and created a baseball field. We would use a Spalding rubber ball, an old baseball, whatever we can find. So it was my early involvement in just hanging out with my peers and older brothers and their friends, and their passion for sports and just going out and having a good old time. So that's where the seed began to grow. And over the years, obviously I've always played and always had a passion for watching sports and playing sports. Even to this day, like today, I'll be going out and playing basketball at the age of 71, given, this age. And I'm still doing Sandlot pickup games in basketball instead of baseball. So the passion applies in all sports. So, but over the years, obviously I became involved in league play. I was a pretty good hitter. I was a pretty good pitcher. And so I joined teams later on in my later childhood years, early adolescence. Eventually I played at Williamsport, Pennsylvania, and were in the Little League, International Little League camps back in July and August of those years. And, I was coached by professionals and played in that league. So I had always a passion and a love for just playing, and staying fit and doing the right thing, but most of all, it helped me in my creative process. Number one, in terms of just doing what I do today, getting a doctorate, and practicing for the last 46 years, and still, like I said, going out and playing basketball today, this afternoon, and enjoying sports. In fact, tomorrow I'm going to the Dodger game.
All right.
So, as a kid, I also, worked at Shea Stadium as a kid.
That's what
I've always had a...
Shafer, I'm sorry to interject. That's what I wanted to get to. You did work at Shea Stadium as a kid, right?
Yes.
How did that come about?
Well, I just love to be around the sports, and I was I lived walking distance to Shea Stadium back in high school, and so I was able to leave school at 12 o'clock because his day started at 7:30 in the morning. There was no lunch, there was no recess, it was just classes, and you got out at 12:30, and from there I walked over to the stadium. So in order to get access to games without paying for them, I decided to work there. And so they gave me the pass, and I used to work for Harry M. Stevens, the vendor company, selling hot dogs, walking around the stands, Cracker Jacks, peanuts, whatever. And I got to just go and be around the team and meet a lot of players and see practices. So it was like a dream come true for a sports enthusiast to be able to have access to Major League Baseball, and at that time, football, because the New York Jets used to practice there, and I used to be able to be around the players like Joe Namath and so on. Just watching them play, and so it was just a great passion. That was, a way to access it was to go out and work for the stadium.
Absolutely, and many listeners may not realize, but in your book, Unrestrained Creativity, you do interview some former athletes, some former baseball players in this book.
Yes, I do. Part of the emphasis of that, or the purpose of that, was to get their views on Sandlot baseball and how they started their careers. And I interviewed some great players, such as Bud Harrelson. I had communication with Yogi Berra. I had extensive interviews with Bobby Thompson, who was the home run that was heard around the world. Also, Tommy Lasorda had sent me his views on baseball and how he started. So it was, and John Matlack, who was a pitcher for the Mets, and he sat with me for dinner, and we had a very nice 2-hour conversation about his origins of how he became involved with baseball and developed into a star pitcher. So yeah, this was a very important part of the book because it shows that a dream can come true. And how did the dream begin? And that was to just go out and play and Bobby Thompson used to go out and play with his brothers in the backyard, and he had no real great thought of becoming a baseball player. But over the years, he got into the major leagues and hit one of the most monumental home runs in baseball history.
I mean, so for my baseball fanatics listening to the program this morning, this is another reason to pick up this book, Unrestrained Creativity by Shafer Zysman, Dr. Shafer Zysman, who's with us this morning. And Shafer, I have a couple of minutes left. Any final words to the listening audience?
Well, I would encourage the audience, who especially coaches, parents, teachers, whoever is involved with kids, helping kids, to let them be kids. And what we often do is we try to overstructure kids these days. And the emphasis is to establish a healthy child development. And the book is really about child development more than it is strictly a baseball book. So it uses baseball and sports as a backdrop to the development of to a healthy child. So, and one aspect, and probably the greatest theme in it, is the idea that we need to allow kids to play, be spontaneous, get out of the bedroom, meet with other kids, and have fun. This is something that has been sort of receding over the years, and I'm encouraged as a professional in the field of mental health and in working with kids over the years, that it's something that's missing and something that we need to reintroduce into the culture of child development.
The book, Unrestrained Creativity, How Sandlot Baseball Can Unleash Creativity for Kids in the Tech Age, by Dr. Shafer Zysman. Shafer, great to have you. We'll do a part 2. We didn't even get to how long it took you to create this piece of work, so we'll get to that part 2. I appreciate your time this morning.
Okay, thank you so much, Brian.
Take care, Shafer.
Be
Until
well.
next week.
Thank you.
Happy collecting to all.